A room full of luxury suits, high-stake investors, and champagne glasses clinking. Everyone in that boardroom believed power, wore expensive shoes, and had Ivy League diplomas. And when Amara walked in wearing her simple black blazer and braided bun, they assumed she was someone's assistant. But they were wrong. Dead wrong. Amara stood silently at the head of the table. The billionaire, Nicholas Thorne, was mid-conversation, talking over her like she was invisible. Until she extended her hand. "Mr. Thorne," she said calmly, "I am Amara Davis, founder of Lunotech." He paused, glanced at her hand, then smirked. "I do not shake hands with staff," he said. The entire room went silent. Amara's face froze. For a split second, her fingers trembled, but only slightly. She pulled her hand back, nodded politely, and sat down at the table. Not a flicker of anger, just grace. But inside, something had shifted. Nicholas leaned back in his chair, amused. "Now, if we're all ready, let us get this presentation started. I assume you brought the USB stick?" Amara smiled gently. "No, I own the presentation." Laughter rippled across the table, but it died quickly when the first slide appeared on the screen. Projected in bold letters. Lunotech, a $2 billion AI breakthrough in renewable power. That is when the mood shifted. Suddenly, all eyes were on Amara. Her voice rang out, clear, calm, and confident. "Our technology has already passed pilot testing in 3 countries. We have government contracts lined up and private investors waiting. The only thing we needed was your manufacturing network." Nicholas blinked. He leaned forward. "You expect me to believe that this startup of yours is real, with no credentials, no degrees, no endorsements?" Amara's expression did not change. "I did not come here to beg. I came to offer a chance." There was a pause. Then Nicholas chuckled, leaned back again, and said, "We will pass." No one else at the table dared speak. Amara nodded once. Then she did something that no one expected. She slowly reached into her folder, pulled out a signed letter, and slid it across the table. It had a gold seal and a signature at the bottom. Nicholas squinted. Then his jaw dropped. Because at the top of that letter, in bold, royal blue ink, were the words, "Blackstone Ventures, $2.1 billion committed to Lunotech Inc." Blackstone, the largest private equity firm in the United States. Amara stood. "I had already secured funding. I was here to give you first access. But now, I think I will walk away." And she did. Not another word, not a look back. But what happened the moment she left that room would make headlines around the world and shatter Nicholas Thorne's reputation forever. Because within 48 hours, his investors would vanish, and her name would be on every business channel in America. Nicholas Thorne sat in his glass-walled office overlooking downtown Manhattan. He was used to being the man who made decisions, not the one second-guessing them. But this time, something felt different. He replayed the moment over and over in his head, Amara's quiet voice, the elegance in her restraint, and most of all, that letter from Blackstone Ventures. He told himself she was bluffing. But just as he was about to move on, his phone buzzed. It was a message from his assistant. "Urgent. CNBC just ran a segment on Lunotech. Call me." His stomach dropped. He grabbed the remote and flipped the massive screen on his office wall to the business channel. There she was, Amara Davis, standing beside the CEO of Blackstone himself. The headline, in bright red: Black woman tech founder secures historic $2.1 billion funding deal for green energy AI. Nicholas Thorne's firm publicly rejected the pitch. He dropped the remote. The newscaster continued. Amara Davis, 33, is a self-taught engineer from Newark who built the AI engine powering Lunotech in her mother's basement. She applied to over 40 firms for funding before Blackstone saw the vision. Now, her clean energy platform is expected to disrupt the global market. Nicholas stood frozen. He could hear voices outside his office, low murmurs, footsteps that hesitated as they passed his door. Then his phone rang again. His lead investor. Nicholas forced a smile and picked up. "Hey, Robert." "I need to talk to you, Nick. Why did I just find out on the news that you turned down Lunotech?" She walked away." "You let her walk away. That company is going to double in valuation before the year ends. What were you thinking?" "She was nobody." "No, she is the future, Nick. And now she's taking it to someone else. We are pulling our funds, effective immediately." Click. The line went dead. Nicholas stared at the phone in disbelief. He had underestimated her. He had refused to shake her hand, not realizing she held the future in her palm. By the end of the day, 4 more investors dropped out. His manufacturing deal in Asia stalled, and a whisper began to grow among board members. Is Nicholas losing his touch? But what stung most? The comment sections online. Thousands of people had seen the footage, Amara calmly offering her hand, Nicholas refusing, and her walking out in quiet dignity. "She had more class than the entire room," one comment read. Another, "She did not raise her voice. She raised the bar." But the one that haunted him most: "You never know who you're talking down to until it's too late." Nicholas thought it was over, but it wasn't. Because Amara, she hadn't even started yet. And her next move would humiliate him in front of the entire world. Nicholas Thorne was unraveling. His company's valuation had plunged 19% in 10 days. 2 board members resigned. 3 clients pulled out. And still, she said nothing. No retaliation, no interviews, not even a post. That silence haunted him more than headlines ever could. Then came the moment that shattered whatever pride he had left. It was supposed to be a victory. One of Nicholas's last major partnerships, an $800 million international project with Voltovia Energy, was still intact. Until it wasn't. His assistant rushed into his office, breathless. "Sir, you need to see this." She turned on the monitor. It was a live stream from Geneva. Voltovia was holding a press conference. At the podium stood its CEO, flanked by media, analysts, and shareholders. "As of today," the CEO announced, "Voltovia will terminate all collaborations with Thorne Global Technologies. We are instead proud to announce our new global partner." A screen behind him lit up. Lunotech. Nicholas's blood ran cold. The crowd erupted in applause as Amara stepped onto the stage. Not in a gown, not in heels, but in a sleek gray suit, symbolic, deliberate, and powerful. She took the mic calmly. "Some doors are slammed in your face. Others you walk away from because you finally realize you were never supposed to wait for permission to lead."
The room fell silent. Nicholas was still staring at the screen when his office phone rang again. It was his banker, and the words Nicholas heard next made his legs give out beneath him. "Mr. Thorne, Blackstone is buying out your controlling shares." "What?" "They just executed a silent acquisition of your debt holdings. They own 51%. As of this morning, sir, you are no longer the majority stakeholder in your own company." Nicholas could not breathe. The banker's voice softened. "And your new chairperson of your board? She is already on her way to your office." The line went dead. And Nicholas? He collapsed into his chair, hands shaking, lips trembling. Not from fear, but from realization. He had handed over the future, all because he could not shake a black woman's hand. And now, that woman was in the building, with the authority to walk into his office and take his seat. But what she would say when she arrived would break the world's heart wide open. The elevator doors slid open on the top floor of Thorne Global. Every employee froze. There she was, Amara Davis, walking with quiet authority. No entourage, no camera crew, just her, a tablet under one arm, and a calm, unreadable expression. Nicholas Thorne sat alone in his office. The blinds were open. His name still glimmered on the glass door. For now. He stood as she entered, eyes hollow, voice low. "You win," he whispered. Amara tilted her head. "This was never a game." Nicholas looked down at the floor, his pride shattered. "I should have shaken your hand." She did not gloat. She did not smile. Instead, she walked to the window, looking out over the city skyline, the same view he once held as power. "I was not asking for a handshake," she said quietly. "I was offering respect. You refused it. You dismissed me. You made me invisible." She turned to face him. "But I did not come here to punish you, Nicholas. I came to end something." He blinked. "End what?" She set the tablet on his desk and tapped it once. The screen lit up. "Your official resignation. It is already drafted. The board has signed off. You can fight it, of course, but I would not recommend it." He stared at it in silence. "And then what? You take everything I built?" Amara's eyes softened, just slightly. "I am not here to take your past. I am here to shape the future, for those you ignored. For every girl who was told she was just staff. For every genius who never got past the lobby. For every black woman whose name was mispronounced, whose ideas were stolen, and whose brilliance was buried under bias." A tear slipped down Nicholas's cheek. He wasn't crying for his company. He was crying for the realization that he had wasted his power keeping others small. Amara picked up the resignation tablet and gently placed it in his hands. Then she said the words the world would never forget. "I was never asking for a seat at your table. I was building one of my own. And now, there is room for all the ones you left out." She walked to the door, paused, and this time, she extended her hand. Nicholas stared at it, ashamed, hesitant, but finally, he took it. Not as a man clinging to relevance, but as someone who finally understood the cost of arrogance. She nodded once, then walked away. 1 week later, Amara Davis stood in front of a crowd of young innovators, all shades of brilliance and determination. Cameras flashed, news anchors whispered. History was watching. Behind her, the new sign read, Lunotech Global Headquarters, formerly Thorn Global Tower. And in that moment, a little black girl in the front row leaned over to her mother and whispered, "Mommy, she looks like me." And her mother smiled through tears and replied, "Yes, baby, and one day you will look just like her." Did this story move you? If you believe in justice, respect, and second chances, hit that like button and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more real, emotional stories that challenge the powerful and uplift the overlooked.